Wacky Wednesday, the backyard edition. We are so glad to have you here. Every week in June, we're going to post a video at 6:30, and we're going to play some games. We're going to learn a craft, eat a snack, have a lesson. We're going to have so much fun. And you know what? You're also going to have a challenge that you can do with your parents. You can get outside and play the games we're playing. You can just beat your parents and tell them, I'm the winner. No, really. We're just going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to learn about Jesus in the same time. So our lesson today, we're going to begin our lessons on the Paul, one of the greatest missionaries ever. So here's a picture of him. I don't know that that's really what he looked like, but that's what we're going to say he looks like today. So you remember the story of Paul. Before he became a missionary, he actually did not even like Christians. He was actually mean to them and wanted to put them in jail, or even worse, kill them. But then the Lord came and met him on the road to Damascus, and he was completely changed. His life was just turned upside down, and he became this great missionary, and so many people came to know him. But you know what? Paul didn't have an easy life. It was tough at times, and he went from place to place, city to city, telling people about Jesus and hoping and praying that their lives would be changed. But he endured prison, he endured storms, he almost lost his life so many times. So his life was not easy. But he wrote a lot of different letters to people, telling them about Jesus and telling them to be encouraged and to stay trusting in Jesus. And when he wrote these letters, he actually was in jail. And one of the letters we're going to talk about today was to the people of Philippi. Can you say that? Philippi? These are the Philippians. And he told them, look in this picture, it shows that he's thinking about them. And that's what his letter says. He says, I'm thinking about you, and I thank you for your love and your support to me. And I thank you that you love Jesus. So let me read a little bit of what it says in Philippians, okay? This is Philippians 1, I'm going to start in verse 12. It says, brothers and sisters, here is what I want you to know. What has happened to me has really helped to spread the good news. One thing has become clear. I am being held in chains because of my stand for Christ. Just because he believed in Jesus, he was put in jail and actually held in chains. All of the palace guards and everyone else know it. Because I am being held by chains, most of the believers in the Lord have become bolder. They now speak God's word more boldly and without fear. And so he was being thankful that even though he was in jail, all of the other believers around, it made them bolder, and they started talking even more about Jesus. They weren't afraid, and they did it without fear, and they did it with confidence. So he was saying, even though my life is kind of crazy and I'm in jail, God's word is still going out. And so he was praising the Lord, and he says, thank you. Thank you for believing. And he's encouraging them as it goes on into the story. He's encouraging the Philippians to stay rooted in Jesus and to not give up. So Paul was a great missionary, and we can be just like him. But I want to show you how our world can be changed too, just because of Jesus, just like it was for Paul. Okay? Let me show you this. All right, so this is going to represent us. This pink, cute, striped ball. It's us. And I'm going to take it over here. And my friends are going to show how the world is crazy. We're being bounced around everywhere. But you know what? Just like Paul, this is going to represent Jesus. Sometimes we even get knocked off the boat. But Jesus, he comes and he says, I'm with you. I'm with you. Do not be afraid. I am with you. Just like Paul knew that Jesus was with him no matter where he was. We are too. See? The big ball, Jesus, God is bigger than anything. Whatever problem we face, Jesus is bigger. The Bible tells us that Jesus is the light of the world. And if we keep our focus on him through all the hardships of life, when we're being bounced around and feel like things are out of control, we have to keep our focus on him because he is where truth is. He's where life is. And he is the light of the world to light our path and show us the way. And when we have Jesus in our life and we're following him, we become a light. And we can share his light and reflect his love to other people. And we share his light to other people so that they can come to know Jesus, just like Paul did. So Jesus is the light of the world. And see how all the Christians come together? We can make such an impact because the light is so much brighter because we're reflecting his light. So say that with me. Jesus is the light of the world.
Time for summer snacks with Miss Penny. Today we're going to make a watermelon slush. Yum! I have the ingredients here. You go ask your parents for permission to help. Get them to help you make this. You'll need a blender. You'll need some honey. You'll need a lime, a third cup of water, and some watermelon, and some ice. So let's get started. We'll put a little bit of watermelon in our blender like this, and see, my hands are clean. You ought to make sure your hands are clean when you do this. And then we'll squeeze a little bit of lime in here. Woo, you might need help with that. That's kind of tough to do. And then, probably about 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon of honey. And I love honey. And ice. Okay, and then we're going to pulse this. It's going to be loud. Hold your ears. When it looks like it's blended well together, you take it out and you pour it into a 9x9 pan or something smaller along this size. Can you see it? We're just going to pour it in, and then you put it in the freezer and let it get really frozen. It's goodness right here. Now we've made a smaller one just so you can kind of see what it looks like. It's right here. So after you leave it in for about an hour, you're going to get it out, and you'll just start with a fork and you'll start scraping it like that, and you have the most delicious slushy. Post your pictures. I want to see who made this and how much you liked it. See you next time.
Hey everybody! Okay, so every Wacky Wednesday Backyard Edition, we are going to be doing a different game. Today's game is going to be the sponge relay, and the object is to get all the water that's in this bucket with the sponge that Miss Kaylin is holding over each of us to fill the water in this bucket over here. This is our first time to do it, so wish us luck, and we hope you have a great time doing it in your backyard.
Good job. Ready? Okay. Oh, I want to sweep it out a little bit. and welcome to Crafternoon with Miss Kimber. Today we are going to be making the cutest little bird feeder for our little friends because you know what? They need a summer snack too. So the things that you will need is popsicle sticks. I chose to do the smaller ones, but you can do the jumbo ones if you want a really big bird feeder. That will be okay too. We also have a glue gun. You will want to make sure that you talk to your mom and dad and ask them to help you with this project. You might burn your finger and I would not want that to happen to you. You will need some twine to make the little loops for it to hang on your tree. Some birdseed, of course. We have to feed them. And then some paint. You don't have to paint it, but if you choose to, I did mine at the end. But if you want each individual stick a different color, you might want to get some markers or some paint and do that and let it dry first before you start your project. All right, let's get going.
So first we are going to lay out 11 craft sticks along the bottom. And this is going to make the base of the bird feeder. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, that one's kind of wonky. Let's get a different one. Oh, that one was wonky too. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna line them up and I'm gonna grab a couple more sticks just to make it even. And this is where the glue comes in handy. So I'm gonna put a strip of glue along the bottom of this stick. And it goes just like this on the bottom first. It's gonna get stuck there. Grab another craft stick and we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. Okay, so we're going to grab another one and this time we are going to make them go this way. So it's going to go the opposite direction. Now going forward, we only need to do dots. We don't have to go all the way across. Okay, and now we're going to keep going and we're going to do this 7 more times. Okay guys, the next step is to put in a little perch for them to sit. Because you know, sometimes birds, they get a little bit tired after a while. So we're gonna stick it at the very bottom. Do you see where you made your little slat right there? Go ahead and put some glue right here and then you can slide it in. Okay. Perfect. We'll just let that sit there. And once you have completed that part, you can either paint it if you want to, just like we did for this one, or you can leave it plain, but we are going to get some string and tie 2 on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so once you have them all tied, you're going to gather them together. Make it kind of tight and then do a big loop at the top.
Okay, so once we have finished our bird feeder, it'll look something like this. We put a little knot at the top just to make sure that it stays on your tree well. And this is the time that you'll want to paint the whole thing if you choose to do it that way. So now we have fun little summer snack for our friends. You guys, make sure that if you make them, post it on Facebook. We want to see what you guys are doing and if you're having fun with our backyard games and our backyard challenges. And we would love to see your faces. So we will see you again next week. Bye, guys.
Hey everybody, welcome welcome to the challenge. You can play the water relay like we did earlier with sponges. You can even use washcloths, or you can use these splash bombs. They're pretty awesome. Also, if you have them at home, you can play splash bomb baseball, which is super duper fun. Another thing you can do, take a big bucket, and instead of filling up this bucket with a sponge, take one of these small potted plant things with a hole in the bottom, pick up water, pass it over the top of your head, and do a waterfall relay. Try and fill up the bucket at the other end with as much water as you can in the fastest time you can. Whatever you do, just make sure you have a lot of fun and get wet.